and talk about how their quarter has been like. Mr. Thiagarajan, great to have you on the show as always. Thank you so much for your time. I want to first talk about commodity inflation because that has significantly impacted your margins this quarter. Tell me what proportion of the cost increase has already been passed on and whether or not there are any further price hikes on the anvil.
Good morning, Aisha. It's a pleasure interacting with you. The results are disappointing. You might have seen that. I have been candid in saying that we have not been able to pass on the full price increase. There was around 13% increase we are supposed to take. Only 5% could be passed on. I thought that Q1 we will manage with around 2% drop in the margins. But you would have seen that we are down by around 500 BPS compared with the original estimate, or 300 BPS lower than same quarter last year. And having said that, the good news is the tertiary sales market gain. As GFK had reported, we lost market share of around 50 basis points in April. We gained 10 BPS in May. We gained 50 BPS in June. So on the whole, we ensured that we are not losing the market share. Eventually, in primary sales, we have lost around 60 BPS market share. In tertiary, we have just lost around 30% BPS. That is basically because we had to ensure that we are competitive in the marketplace. There were huge inventory in the marketplace, and there was no possibility for us to pass on the entire price increase. Plus, in order to push out the secondary tertiary sales, we had to persist with the consumer schemes, including consumer finance. So it is a four-match series. One match is lost. There are three more matches. So I am talking to you like a captain who just lost the first match. But I am confident that we will bounce back. We have to now look at consolidating ourselves in Q2 and go forward and ensure that we get back to our healthy margins. We have been benchmark in delivering the margins. As you know, that we delivered a double-digit margin in Q4. And even if you take Jan to June, the margins are good. If on a 6 month basis, we are holding on to more than 7% margin. So it was a disappointing quarter. I don't think it is going to be immediately possible to pass on the price increase because it's a lean season. Still, there are enough material in the marketplace.
Okay, plenty to kind of dissect there, Mr. Thiagarajan. Let me first look at how raw material prices are behaving and take your opinion on that. Have things improved, and will the pass-through therefore be milder than what it ought to be given the Q1 numbers?
I don't think so, Hers, that you would have seen yesterday the copper touched 14,000. We are now looking at rejigging our entire portfolio. We had to reduce the material content, go for alternate materials. There is a massive exercise that is on. And I don't and on the other hand, the rupee continues to be volatile. So you have to wait for the West Asia crisis to be over for the input costs to come to a stable situation. But otherwise, we have to wait for the market to absorb the higher prices, which I think is going to be the festival season. It will begin with Onam, and then you have to see. So the internal estimates of ours, we have a visibility to get back to anywhere between 6.5 to 6.75 by Q4 bare minimum. That we are confident. We have to work out how we can take it above 7. That's where we are.
Okay, and with regard to inventory, you suggested that there is plenty of inventory still there. So despite a very, very strong summer, that unwind hasn't happened as much as you would have anticipated. Is that the right? Is that right in what I'm inferring?
So you may recollect the summer window was very short. The onset of summer was around April 20th, and June first week it collapsed. As far as Blue Star is concerned, we were very clear. We want to ensure sellout, and we ensured that we were also hurt by the fact that we lost 50 BPS market share in April. The moment we knew that, we ensured that our focus will be the secondary tertiary movement. In May, we gained 10 BPS. In June, in fact, we did a phenomenal performance of gaining 50 BPS. But the problem was June was a very, very short window. The demand collapsed. So as far as Blue Star is concerned, our inventory position is very, very comfortable. You would have seen the only there are two things that stand out for us in Q1. One is the net cash position. You would have seen that it is around you will see it as 900 crores against 570 crores last year, and our order book is healthy. So if you look at the cash position, that is basically because the working capital has reduced primarily in inventories.
Interesting. So, Mr. Thiagarajan, if I were to ask you, out of all your verticals, which is room ACs, UCPs, the commercial order book, and even the data center business, what is actually going to recover the fastest?
Data center is doing extremely well. In fact, we are struggling to cope with the number of orders that are coming in. So we are diverting some of our resources from infra projects and other verticals into execution here. You have seen the net order book to be around 7,700 crores. Already we have close to 1,700 crores worth of data center orders already in, and we hope to close the order inflow at around 3,000 crore. So close to around 20% of our revenue is going to come from data center vertical by 2029, and we are on track there. So there is absolutely no problem. That is already doing well. The fastest recovery will have to be room air conditioner, because it is an important segment. And I don't see that happening till around September. July, August is also going to be muted, is my view. And we have to ensure that it bounces back for our overall performance of the company. While data center or the factories MEP, these verticals are providing the weatherproofing of Blue Star, that it will keep us going. But important for us to get back on the growth path and margin revival in specifically the room air conditioners. Commercial refrigeration is also doing badly. For some reason, it may be due to FMCG or the food consumption. That part is not doing well. So therefore, the deep freezer demand has been lower. But we are clear that we will get back. There is no problem in terms of fundamentals or where we are. We will be able to get back in Q3, Q4.
Certainly you will. And always a pleasure chatting with you, Mr. Thiagarajan. And thanks as always for being so candid.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, on that note, let's take a very quick break. That's definitely recovery in sight for Blue Star. And the markets, of course, continue to be just sideways at this Friday morning. We'll take a break, come right back. We'll chat with the management of Samvardhana Motherson.